#1 on the billboards, Grammy nods, and a return visit to the show. Only this time they come 100% as themselves.
Red, today on The Revolution.
Welcome to The Revolution, a show with killer music and razor-sharp truth. I'm George.
And I'm Kat. They've shared the stage with Sevendust and Rob Zombie, and on their first meeting, LaJohn saw their tattoos and wanted to talk faith.
That's right. They're kind of a hybrid band. Billboard's got them listed as a Christian rock band, but they still got enough power to blow the roof off any place. They've been on Conan, Jay Leno, but still get judged by the church left and right.
And because of those spiritual police, Red wanted to make sure in this specific episode that disclaimer is out there, that they respect everyone's views. We're all on the same equal playing field, and they're coming as believers, #1. You'll hear Red like you've never heard him before in just a moment.
These guys, Red, they're husbands, they're dads, and they're a professional touring act. And on today's show, they talk about how they're in a more mature phase of their life and how they honestly don't have it all figured out.
So how did it all get started? Here's Red.
I feel like it would be creating rock and roll blasphemy.
I have washed cars, washed dishes, lots of washing. I would telemarketer.
I was a registered nurse.
Male nurse.
Obviously. Hello. The reason why we're out here is helping people, and the reason why I was in the hospital was just helping people. So
I love having Mike on the road, or being on the road with Mike, because if anything happens to me, he can help me out.
Mike's a walking Walgreens.
Yeah.
I get a lot of medical questions
Hey
on
Mike,
the road.
my left
that's for
foot is
sure.
black.
It's probably not normal. It's probably necrotic. It's gonna fall off soon.
The very first show we did with Sevendust, it was funny. It actually started on a tattoo conversation. We were with, and it was crazy is that we didn't expect to get to talk to the guys, because on tours you don't really get to know each other right away. It takes about a week or two to, like, for the dogs to kind of sniff each other out, sort of thing. Yeah, and that's like the analogy we like to use: dogs sniffing each other's butts. But LaJohn, the lead singer, walked up to me and I think our other guitar player Jason, and he asked about our tattoos, and we told him, we've got, I've got the Book of Revelation on my arm because it's my favorite book, and it's the scariest book of the Bible, and I just like scary stuff, and I just kind of like that end of the world scenario kind of thing, and he had the Virgin Mary on his arm and all this stuff, and he just went into this whole thing. He's like, man, he's like, I know where you guys' heads are. He's like, and we'd never met him before. So he just kind of went into this thing. He's like, we need to collaborate. We need to talk about our faith. And I was just like, that was a really cool thing for us to hear him say. And it was weird. We got to know those guys so well. It was such an amazing experience. And by the end of the tour, we played the Nokia Theater in Times Square. And before we went on, we always have a prayer thing. We get still and we pray and stuff before we go on. And we finished our set. They watched us, whatever. And we had a knock at the door. And can I tell one story? Just kidding. We had a knock at the door, and it was their head of security. His name's Yoshi. He's a big Pacific Islander, huge guy, and kind of intimidating. And he knocks on the door, and he was always really nice to us and everything. He's like, hey man, you guys mind if I pray with you? And we're just like, dude, yeah, whatever, And because we're dumb Christians, we're like, that was weird, you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't think that's weird, you know what I mean? Like, we should have not been surprised by that at all. And so on with the night. Before Sevendust went on, Yoshi took us into their dressing room, and we all prayed together in Sevendust dressing room in a big circle. And it was just, like I said, we were dumb again then. We were just like, I can't believe this is happening right now. But we should just expect for things to happen like that, because God moves that way. And to be able to share a prayer with those guys was an amazing.
It's our first tour, okay?
Yeah.
My dad's a preacher, and it was when I was 7.
Just kidding.
It was just one of those coming to Jesus moments of like, when you're 7, you don't know a lot about the Bible and everything, and it was just, I didn't want to go to hell, And that's how it started off as, but as I grew older and it wasn't all about the fire insurance, as we like to call it, and growing closer to God and everything. And it's still that way now. It's just I want to get back to that where I'm just like totally in love with who God is, and just and have that deep relationship with Him. And I think that all of us as guys, we strive to have that, and we don't have it all figured out. We don't know all the answers to the questions, and I don't think some of the questions that we do have we'll never know. But it's like we just want to be continually seeking
Knowledge.
All right, guys, don't forget to check us out online, therevolutiontv.com. There you're going to find our 24/7 video channel, all your favorite bands on there. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook. Reach out to us. You're not alone. therevolutiontv.com.
We mess up just like anybody else out there, and I guess because we're on TV, we get a lot of flack from the spiritual police also, just like the guys from the band Red they were talking about, because they are Christians and they are in the forefront. There is a fringe of the religious community that likes to point fingers. We're all just struggling through, trying to figure this life out and live the best that we can, worthy of our calling. And as you've heard in this amazing interview, these guys have never been this honest before with us. So that's why this is so awesome, that they're sharing their true frustration, I guess, that we need to embrace each other, especially if we're all the body of Christ. And where is that old adage, that verse that says His grace is sufficient? Yeah, we need a little bit more of that. Why can't we get that?
I remember when I first accepted Christ, I was fully engrossed in the Bible every day. I was afraid to go a mile over the speed limit. I was like, I've got to do everything perfect. And then you get to the stage where it's like, man, I just can't do it. It's impossible. I can't do it. And you finally realize that. And like, I used to bash my brother, like, you can't do that because it says in the Bible this. You can't do that because it says in the Bible this. I was really annoying. And we're seeing that all over the place. It's hard to say this, but it's true. There's these annoying people going all around saying you can't do this because this, and whatever. Instead of, I always tell about the people about this book that I'm reading. It's called Unchristian. It's an author called named David Kinnaman, and the whole book is about a 3-year study that he and this other guy did about what the world's view of Christianity is and why we should care. And they did a survey, a national survey, and they asked, when you hear the word Christian, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, what are Christians known for? And they were saying the overwhelming majority was like, Christians are known for being against this. They hate this group of people. They don't like this. They're against this. They don't stand for this. And there was no kind of answers like, they're known for loving on these people. They're known for taking care of this group of people. They're known for, whatever. They're not known for these kind of things. They're known for being against everything. So why would somebody who has an outsider's perspective want to be part of something that's against everything? Or it seems like it is, that's not to say that there's...
It reminds me of like back in the day, like what Jesus was kind of dealing with the Pharisees and everything. They were trying to live their lives by the letter of the law. And Jesus was like, that's not the way it is. It's like if you look at a woman in lust, then you've already sinned. It's like the whole point of it was like you can't. Whatever you do, you cannot do on your own. It's like that's the whole point of why Jesus came and died on the cross. It's like we need to live by His example and get out there amongst the people that are hurting, that need help.
It's scary to think too, like we talk about those fights and stuff that we see online all the time. That is Satan right there at work. He's got those people fighting against each other and wasting precious time being stupid. And, like I said, we were there. I was there. I know all of us, you go through stages as a Christian. And, we had a friend who accepted Christ and used to be a tattoo artist and did Ozzy Osbourne and, just, huge artists that you would view as, today, like, wow, they were kind of demonic in their day and stuff like that. But, he was so on fire for God, going to church every day, carrying a Bible in his back pocket, this and that, which is great. I think everybody starts off there. It's like, it's new, it's fresh. I want as much of it as I can possibly get. And then he got to this middle stage where it's like, I don't really know who my friends are. I don't know who these people are. And I had a shouting match with him. I was on the phone with him. I was sitting next to a pool in San Antonio, and I had a shouting match with him. And he was telling us that, I don't even know if you guys are my friends. And we're like, you know what, man? Someday you're going to look back on this conversation and feel so stupid that that you put us in the same categories you put the other people in your life that are using you and this and that. And sure enough, it came full circle 6 or 7 months later that this guy was like, man, that conversation, whatever. I don't know what kind of stage he's at. It's not for me to judge or whatever. But then you get to this part where you understand that being a Christian is having a relationship with Christ, period. So it's like having a relationship with your parents, because God is our Father. And my relationship with my father is not perfect. I don't call my father every day. I don't this whatever. Whereas, it's more of a chore. Whereas I can just look up or just say something to Christ anytime I want to. It's like you've got a one-on-one relationship with the Creator of the earth, and you're
You don't need a cell phone signal.
Yeah, you don't need a cell phone signal to communicate. And you start to understand that God uses you when He needs to use you, and you understand that you're a vessel for His use. And instead of I gotta prove to the world that I love Jesus, so I'm gonna put it on my T-shirt, and I'm gonna walk around these Christian festivals, and I'm gonna blast my Christian music, and it's all about what I'm putting out, what I'm putting off. Whereas I would rather walk up to the kid that's wearing camouflage and a trench coat than some idiot who's walking across the festival saying virginity rocks, because that guy just sticks out to me like, okay, whatever. Whereas this person probably needs a friend, and I don't know. It's you can't say these kind of things because, people have fragile egos, and it's you don't ever want to.
We all kind of came from that.
Yeah, and in a position that we're in, we don't have the ability nowadays. Everything's so political. Like,
Don't listen to AC/DC.
we don't have the ability to to say the things that we want to say, because it's. If that were the case, we're not going to get through to the people that we want to get through in the time that we have. Hey, we're Red!
And you're watching The Revolution.
As musicians and as guys that are on stage and kids that look up to us and see us, they want to know that we've got it all together, and they want to see that we've got a plan, and that we're executing that plan 100%. And I think it scares kids when we can actually push back and ask them the same questions, and have not so much angst in our tone, but have like this we're just as confused as you are about where we are in our walk. There's things that we're confused by and that we don't get and we don't understand, and that it gets exhausting. It's exhausting.
Know that it's okay to question.
Yeah, it's exhausting for us as a band to
whatever's going on in your life, whatever.
To hold back. It really is.
Like I just kind of think back to like Job, some of the things that he was dealing with in the Bible, and he was an upright, like a really, really good man that so many things happened to him. And people were like, well, you're definitely, there's something going on in your life, you're sinning. And he's like, no, I'm not, and to the point where he like questioned God, like, why is this happening to me? And it's like, we're not going to know all the answers in this life, but we should know that God is with us no matter what we're going through, and that it's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to be angry or be hurt.
So we're talking about whether or not Jesus Christ is the answer, and if He is the answer for you, if He's the answer for us. All I know is that the guys in this band, we grew up and we tried things that this world had to offer, and none of those things ended up working in the long run. We've seen so many people try the same things that we've tried. We've got friends that are still trying them, and sooner or later everybody comes to the understanding that this just doesn't work for me, and there's only one thing that we've found in our lives that actually works, and that's Christ, and that's having a relationship with Him. A one-on-one relationship with the Creator of this earth is something that you can't fathom until you just actually grab His hand and just do it, and just have Him walk with you through your life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have hardships, and you're not going to understand at times what it means is that He's never going to leave you. He's never going to forsake you. He's always going to find a way to reveal to you an answer that you need. And we just want to encourage you guys that if there's, if you're on that fence that, you could, decide whether I don't believe in Christ or, I want to learn more about this. We encourage you to find a Bible and get somewhere where you can be around people that are honest and genuine and are, that want to help you, that actually care about you instead of caring about themselves first, and ask questions and don't necessarily take everything that you hear from everybody around you verbatim. Find things out for yourself, ask questions, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's going to be a relationship between you and God and nobody else. And you can't go and fight. You can't go and ask somebody else for forgiveness. You can't go and ask somebody else to not leave you, because sooner or later everybody else around you is going to let you down in one way or another. And that sounds kind of dark and morbid, but that's the truth. That's what God has told us, is that I am the way, the truth, and the life, not this person. So we just want to encourage you guys that if you guys have questions, find somebody that is willing to give you what the best answer that they can give you. And I think everybody's going to say, that's Christ. That's what I've found is in my life is Christ.
We wanted to applaud those guys, the band Red, for being so honest with us. I think this is one of the most honest episodes that we have ever shared. They were talking about the frustration from their own family, the body of Christ, who has judged them just because they go on tour with some major mainstream acts like Rob Zombie and Seven Dust, all kinds of others. But you guys, the amazing thing is that they are walking lights in the world, that they are reaching an audience that would never darken the door of a church. They are living the Great Commission. We have got to deconstruct our mindsets and turn off that judgment button. Because I tell you, we're not meant to live like the Pharisees. We're meant to be radical like Jesus Christ and love on the world and encourage each other to do the same thing. So by His grace, His grace is sufficient. Love God and love others. That's it.
That's right. A lot of times we're out there in the workplace, and if you're a banker, you're a Christian banker. If you're a waitress, you're a Christian waitress. But there's no special Christian restaurants or Christian banks. I mean, you're doing your job out there, but you're bringing your beliefs and you're bringing Jesus to the world. And that's what these guys are. They're musicians, and they're out there. They're in the mainstream, but they're still bringing Jesus through everything they do. And a lot of times we, as believers, start nitpicking one another, and the Bible actually teaches us to do the opposite. It says, "Judge not, lest you be judged yourself." And I feel like sometimes we, judge so many people, and we get judgment falling on us, and it hinders our walk when we're called to have a love walk. Love first, above all, God, and then love your neighbor as yourself. Can you imagine what this world would look like if you were loving other people as much as you would love your own self? That's what I challenge you guys to do, and it starts by having a relationship with Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, then you don't know true love. I encourage you to go out there and seek what a real relationship with Jesus is. Not religion, but a relationship with Jesus.
It will revolutionize your life, I promise you that. Thank you so much for watching The Revolution. We'll see you guys next time. And if God be for you, who can stand against you?